Hey guys, welcome to T-Shot Friday. Um, Today's video is going to be kind of long and a little bit heavy. Um, I waited to update my 4 months for Trans Day of Remembrance. I kind of want to talk about just my own story and what TDOR means to me. Anyways, um, first changes lately. My voice still getting deeper. It's awesome. Um, Starting to get a little bit of peach fuzz up here, which is exciting. No one else can really notice it, but I notice it. Started growing a happy trail, which is weird. Um, I don't know if I've said this in any of my other videos, but like, I don't get a period anymore, and I haven't since like 1 month on T, and it's the best thing ever. Oh my goodness. I do not miss having a period at all. So, sucks to suck for women. No offense. Okay, that was offensive. Anyways, just saying. Not having a period is like the best thing ever, and sorry, not sorry for bragging about it. Um, what else? I'm getting gendered more correctly by strangers more, particularly at Kroger, um, which is cool. And I think also like my body's still changing. My fat has definitely shifted. I've definitely gained a lot of muscle. Like my arms are so much bigger, even though I haven't gone to the gym that much and they're more toned. I guess I get a workout at Kroger sometimes, like pulling carts and taking out trash and lifting heavy things a lot. But anyways, um, but yeah, so that's kind of the 4 month update. It's exciting. I can't believe it's already been 4 months. It's gone by so fast. It's crazy that my 6 months on T will be in 2 months. But anyways, um, enough about me and my updates. Trans Day for Remembrance is. I just learned this today. It was started in 1988 by a woman named Gloria, I believe. I may have gotten that name wrong, so don't quote me on that. But it's a day to honor and remember those who have lost their lives to transphobia, whether that was violently by murder or who those who committed suicide because of words and actions done in the name of transphobia. For me, I think a lot of you know I have some pretty big mental health issues. Um, and I don't know if a lot of you know that I actually tried to kill myself 2 times. This was back in 2013. There was a span of 8 months from May 2013 to December 2013 that were the worst months of my life. It was hell. It really was. I didn't know who I was. I was afraid of my sexual orientation at the time. I was still identifying as a woman. And I was also dealing a lot with religion. Um, I was really grappling with um, my depression, my anxiety, and a lot of trauma that I didn't know I had until recently. I was actually recently diagnosed with PTSD. And it was that's hard because when I had always thought of PTSD was, you know, traumatic events like, you always hear about soldiers with PTSD or, child abuse or sexual abuse or anything like that. Mine is very emotionally based. Um, and so I didn't know at the time that I was dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional trauma back in 2013 and still dealing with it. Thank goodness I'm much better now and I'm much more stable. I've got right medication. I have the most amazing therapist in the world. But but yeah, I overdosed a lot on medication back then. Um, I was really unhappy. Like I said, I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who I wanted to be. Um, I knew that I didn't fit in with what I had grown up with. I knew that I didn't believe a lot of the things that I told myself I believed. I hated myself. I thought that by hating the part of me that was bad or sinful or whatever, that maybe, just maybe, on the off chance that whatever God there is could love me. And being gay really rocked that boat for me. It was already shaky. I already had a lot of self doubt, a lot of self loathing, aside from dealing with my sexual orientation. And I don't know, it was really hard for me to accept. Um, Once I came out, though, it was like the biggest relief ever. And once I learned how to accept myself for who I was, who I thought I was back then, um, things began to change. Um, it is amazing now being Xander, being the person that I always wanted to be, and the person I always was and didn't know, and getting to know him and coming into him, into myself. Um, it's amazing. Um, but it wasn't easy. I really actually should be dead. Um, I took 30 hydrocodone pills the first time I tried to commit suicide. That's 100 times the amount you're supposed to take in a 24-hour period. I don't know how I'm alive. Um, I must have one hell of a guardian angel. That poor angel gets such a workout with me. I'm sure I keep them busy. But kind of looking back on that, it makes me realize how much I do have to live for and how much work there is to be done. And kind of tying that in with Trans Day of Remembrance, I want to fight against transphobia, um, because it's so damaging. And we've had double the amount of trans people killed this year, specifically trans women of color killed in the US than we did last year. Um, Trans people are more visible now than ever. And while that is great and people are starting to learn more about what it's like to be transgender, and, you know, people are wanting to know more about our stories, about who we are as people, understand where we come from, it also has caused a lot of backlash. Not just in the way of murder, but also an increase in bullying and, online bullying, especially. Um, I think it's really important that today not only we remember, but we take those memories and we take the honor that we bestow upon people who've lost their lives due to transphobia, and we use it to fight against that and to bring awareness to the state of emergency we're in, really. Um, I think it's also important to focus on the mental health issues that a lot of trans people face. I know for me, my PTSD is from religion, and people don't get that. And I know that a lot of you have added me from church on Facebook now, and you're not going to understand it. You may even disagree with it. It's hard to wrap your mind around how something that's positively affected you and given you life and love and freedom and grace and truth had the exact opposite effect on me. And it's almost more scary to talk about that than it is my experience as a trans person. Um, but I think it's an important part of my journey, and I think for a lot of people, um, that does happen. Spiritual trauma is a thing. It's real. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is real. it's real because I experienced it. And if I'm the only one, then it's still real. And I think, you know, we have to look at how something like religion and society and culture and transphobia and homophobia plays into the high rates of suicide attempts among LGBT teens. Um, and a lot of kids are disowned by their families and adults too. We have seen a rise in homelessness among youth since, you know, uh, being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender has become more visible. 40% of homeless youth are LGBT because they get kicked out by their families. Um, and I think, you know, for me, not only am I trans, but I also work very closely with people experiencing homelessness. And I want to take what I've learned from being trans and also from my job and somehow combine the two to do something about that and address, you know, all issues surrounding that, not just the homelessness part, but the trauma that those kids face from being disowned by their family, from being disowned by their church or their religion. And I know it's not just Christianity, that's just my bias and my experience, and I realize that I'm very biased against Christianity because of my own experience. It's something I'm actively working on trying to heal from, but it's going to take time because I'm so hurt by it. But yeah, um, I don't know. I just want to share that with you guys because I think stories are powerful. And maybe someone will see this and realize what they say is hurtful, what they say or teach or believe is can be very harmful for some people. Um, Luckily, since I found the right medication and the right therapist, I've come a long way. Um, I still have to deal with the, you know, the the symptoms of depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and I have nightmares and I have panic attacks. I am so uncomfortable when people say "Have a blessed day." It seriously, it's weird how uncomfortable it makes me, and it embarrasses me almost. Um, and I, you know, coming out as trans to the people. If I want to be gendered correctly, I have to tell people. Until I pass, that's how it is, and that's so scary. And I live in the southern part of the United States, which is very religious, and so for me, being trans and also having the PTSD from religion is just a bomb waiting to go off in this part of the country, honestly. Um, but I have found so much love and so much support from so many different people, and I can't thank those of you enough who stuck by me. I can't thank my parents and my brother enough for sticking by me through the worst 8 months of my life, through the scariest time of your life, probably. Um, Watching me be a completely different person because of my mental illnesses and not knowing a lot of the root causes of them. And even now, I know that things aren't always easy, but they're worth it. And things are getting better for all of us. And to my best friends and their families, you guys know who you are. Your endless love and support and celebration of me learning who I am is invaluable and has saved my life so many times. The thing about having tried to commit suicide twice is that it's almost always an option. It's a default. Whenever things get hard, it's in the back of my mind. And a lot of times I don't want to act on it. And I would say 99% of the time I don't want to act on it. And I owe that to the people who have loved me and supported me, to my family, to my friends, to my friends who have become my family. And I can't thank you guys enough. And so I hope maybe if you're watching this and you don't know me and you are afraid to accept yourself because you're gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender, or gender nonconforming, or asexual, or anything that falls under that umbrella, that you'll see it truly does get better. I didn't believe it. I did not believe that it would get better, but we've seen it get better. We have marriage equality. We have Obama introducing trans healthcare rights. Um, we have so much more than we used to on a societal level, but also individual opinions are starting to change and attitudes. And I hope that you find a little bit of strength and courage from this, because I know that I needed it. And I wish that I had this video 2 years ago. And I wonder how much of a difference it would make to hear myself talk about how much better I am, and how confident I am and who the person I am. And I hope that today, as we mourn the lives lost, but also celebrate them, celebrate those people for who they were, and celebrate them for living authentically, and celebrate them for living authentically in a world that tells them that they are wrong, that their existence is an abomination or immoral or scary. I hope for those of you that fear trans people or LGBT people, or fear that you'll get to know our stories and get to know us, because hatred is rooted in fear, and fear is alleviated by understanding. So I hope that you take the time to listen to trans people's stories, and you listen to us, and you see that we are just trying to live as authentically as possible and live a life that is full of love, of life, of happiness, of authenticity, of grace, of truth, of mercy, of happiness. I think I already said that, but it's important. And I can say that I really look forward to the years to come. I'm not afraid of my future anymore. I'm not afraid of who I am. I'm not afraid of my mental illnesses. I've been through hell and back more times than I can count. And I know that I am strong, and I know that I am powerful, and I know that I am Xander, and I am proud to be Xander.